Yeah, and welcome to another video. I'm Brett Papa, and today is all about rhythm guitar playing. Let's face it, rhythm guitar is what got us into guitar because we liked a song, something like that. What is that? I've got to do that, right? So it was all a song, and rhythm in itself is its own art, right? I mean, a lot of us as guitar players, we want to just shred and do leads and all that stuff, and that's great, and you should absolutely practice that. But I tell you what, 95% of the time is going to be all rhythm guitar. But the cool thing about rhythm guitar is super fun to practice if you make it a creative endeavor, right? And how do you do that? Well, what I'm going to do today is I am going to jam to a couple of drum tracks. I'll put these drum tracks at the end of the video. So once you learn the lesson, go to the very end of the video and I'll loop these drum tracks so you can play along too. I'm also gonna make them available in a download below if you wanna take them and put them into your own, DAW or whatever the hell you call those things. So what they came from is a program called Easy Drummer 3, which is absolutely one of my favorite programs on the computer. There's hundreds of loops. You can buy packs for the style of music that you're into, different drum kits. They sound freaking fantastic. Literally one of my favorite things in the whole world. And it is how I come up with all of my song ideas, because you just put on a different beat, different stuff comes out of you. And I'll show you an example here over two different kind of beats. But I also, if you're not new to playing to a beat, kind of want to describe how to do this. And if you are, different things you can think about, embellishments, how you can play with rhythm to really get better at guitar. And if you want to be in a band or in a coffee shop gig, or maybe you got a church down the street you want to play for, or some guys down the street you want to jam with, or whatever, if you get good at rhythm guitar, chances are people are gonna want to play with you. So all of this also goes into much greater detail. I got a brand new course coming out. It's a rhythm course with two fantastic Nashville session guitar players. One of the guys is like the full Nashville legend, but they're going to show you, both of them are going to show you how, if I'm playing a guitar part, what you can do as a second guitar player. So if you're jamming with a buddy or whatever, things that you can do to make the parts come together. Think of AC/DC, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, all these bands that have two guitar players, with the fusion of the two parts is what really makes a song come alive. And it's super fun, and it's a different way to improvise, because let's face it, if we go to a blues jam, not everyone can play lead at the same time. So you might as well get good at being able to comp some cool rhythm parts in the end. And that way, if somebody's holding down the fort, you can kind of come back and, add some other cool textural parts, what have you. That course shows you how to add effects, how to do all of that stuff. And if you're a singer-songwriter or in a band and want to create tunes, that is your ticket, because they're going to show you all the magic. So what we're going to do, again, the drum tracks will be at the end. I'm going to play a beat. Let's try this one. So first you want to be able to listen to the beat. I'm like, okay, I got this, right? So you want to be able to kind of just tap in tempo with it. So mute out your strings and just see if you can start feeling, listen for the kicks and the snare. Doom, bah, doom, bah, doom, bah. There's always that constant, 2 and 4 happening, right? Or 1 and 3 or whatever. So what we want to do is we want to first be able to lock into that. And I picked a little bit more complicated beat so we can accent it a little bit differently in just a second, but you'll see. So here we go. Right? So first get that. Then see if you can do it twice as fast, like eighth notes. So and you'll notice part of the kick pattern is like boom, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba. So when it does the 2, you got to make sure that your hits are lining up with that, right? So let's do it. Now let's add a chord. So maybe we'll just go back to the kind of the quarter notes and just try to be able to hit on the quarters, right? Twice as fast. Now, let's see if we can mute. So to palm mute, put your palm right here if you don't know how, right where the string comes over the saddle. Put that down, and now depending on how far you bring that forward is how much it'll mute out the note. We want to be kind of right towards the back so we still hear it. Here we go. Here's palm muting versus no palm muting. Right? Makes it a little tighter. You can do both. Now that's great. Not the most exciting thing. So if you notice, there's a little bit more play in the kick. The kick moves around in the beat. So let's try to get this hand kind of a little bit more synced up with what the kick is doing. Okay, now it's still a little bit more complex than that. It's got quicker hits than that, so we can add an upstroke to it. Now check this out. If we make it kind of like Beatles-esque, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a G chord. And then I'm gonna add these two fingers and make it like a C chord with those two Gs. Total Southern rock thing. So check this out. Now what we can do is pick other chords that work in that, diatonic key. So like G would be, you can throw an A minor, F, C, D. All those chords are gonna sound rock and roll, right? So if we throw like a G to an A minor to an F, let's see what we got. Right, so if I just kept that same feel without all the embellishments, we start to be able to get used to playing beats that we're going to be playing to. Like if you're in a cover band or doing any of that kind of stuff, you're going to start to familiarize yourself with beats that you're going to be playing to. So you'll already kind of have that feel. So it makes learning songs even easier because this hand knows how to lock into the beat, make it sound good, and really work with the drums to really get something that sounds tight. Now, if you notice in music, thousands of songs are the exact same chord progression, yet they can sound totally different. And that's where the embellishments come in, or putting in a scale to add some licks or fills, or the two guitar parts like we go over in the course in the link down below. If one person is playing that, what could you put on top of that to make it sound and come together to be like one really cool part, right? And we go over tons of that in the course. So make sure you check that out. Also, the course is 50% off in the opening weekend. Killer course. If you want to be able to do this stuff, I promise you, you'll be stoked. So the other thing that we can do is you can add little fills on the chords. You can do embellishments like hammers. You can do like a slow hammer or quick or, right? All different feels. So if we start adding some of those, maybe I'll just go back and forth between F and C so you can hear that. Right, so you can see how you start to be able to really just kind of create something by the internal melodies or the licks or whatever that you put with those chords. That's what makes it start sounding unique and identifiable, is your spin on the chord progression. Because let's face it, 90% of music today is the same, like 4 or 5 chord progressions. Sure, they might be in different keys. One might be in a pop or country or rock format, but they're all the same tunes. Let me give you a perfect example. So we could play, right? And I could make it sound country by going. But I could make it sound punk or rock by going. So this beat, you can do all sorts of different stuff over just the one beat. So check this out. Right, so there's like, you can take that 1,000 different ways. You can even use the same chords, maybe power chords versus open chords or what have you, or a combination of both. But just with that one drum beat, it could be punk, it could be country, it could be rock, it could be southern rock, a million different things. Point is, you're learning how to improvise and create over maybe one beat, little embellishments, little things that you can do inside of that beat to make it sound unique. Now, if we took a different beat and I went over here, let's find out where our little thing is here. This is going to pop open my Easy Drummer, and what I can do is I can just find something else. Like, let's see. This particular one, I'm in my Americana set, which I absolutely love. Basic 119 here. This one's great. Total rock and roll beat. You're gonna hear this beat 1,000 times. So maybe this one, you wanna practice just the driving rhythm, you know, and maybe some kind of stuff like that, like. right? I mean, you can, oh, got both beats going on at the same time. You can do a million different things to just that. So what if we took that, started adding some embellishments to an E chord, right? We'll stick with that same G to A. But maybe on the A, you know, Southern rock you might hear, or this. Right, where you're all that kind of stuff. Maybe same thing up here. Right? But practice that to the beat, right? So see if you can lock in. We're going to use palm muting, same kind of thing. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Right. Right? I keep doing that. You get the point. It's a way to really lock in your rhythmic sensibilities. It's a great way, if you have a beat playing, to learn how to do those transitionary riffs like I was doing it there at the end, where you're, you know, maybe combining a little bit of a riff. Right, if I just played that one. So what it's going to really help you do is when you get into a band context or something like that, you're going to be able to start to do those fills and all of those things because you're practicing to a beat. You're starting to learn how to improvise on your feet, right? Like just riffing. The whole idea is to improvise rhythmically, right? We'll sit and we'll play over chord progressions and learn to jam and learn the cage system and all these things and spend all this time learning how to solo, but you should spend more time kind of improvising within a chord structure on how to actually play a song or something like a song or to different beats. And that's why I love Easy Drummer 3, because there's hundreds and hundreds of different beats. You can make songs. It works. It synchronistically works with the other programs that they have. So I have another one called Easy Keys 2. There's that Easy Bass. And it will take, like, you can play guitar to one of these beats and you can import your guitar track into like the Easy Bass and it'll come up with a bass line for your part. So if you don't know how to play bass, it's like, oh, there you go. And you can pick the styles and like keyboards. I'll add, like, I can't play keyboards, but I'll add Hammond keys and all these different Rhodes and things. And it basically does the same thing. It allows you to make the what you're playing more complex, change the keys, the chords, everything. It's like the ultimate tool for creativity. So I can't, express highly enough how much I love the tune track stuff. It's incredible. but it really like gives you something to play to, like it's your own band that you can change on a whim. Like, oh, I don't really like that key. I want to try that same thing in A, not G, or, you know, B flat, or just, you can change the keys too, which is fantastic with like, obviously with like the keys and the bass. But the drums, you can play funk, you can practice shuffles, swings, there's everything. All the tempos can be adjusted. You can change the sounds of the drums. So it's super inspiring. And I think tools like that will make rhythm playing so much more fun for you. And you'll get really good. Now you can do the same thing with lead stuff. Now let's pick that faster one. So, you know, I could sit there and you can practice your lead stuff to get I gotta figure that out. Practice your lead stuff to really, you know, lock in all aspects of your playing, but practice to a beat. I'm gonna leave these at the end of the video. I'll leave those 2 beats. Just practice to that. If you want to download the beats, I'll leave a link. I'll see if I can get a couple of loops made and put them in the description box down below. And then also the course, 50% off opening weekend. I can't tell you enough. Like, I'll teach you like the simple parts, the double stops, embellishments, all this kind of stuff to get you like solid to the, you know, late stage beginner intermediate level. And the Nashville guys that I bring in, this 2-session guys, are going to show you all of the cool tricks of the trade, effects, triads, everything. Like, they do slide parts, they do all sorts of stuff. They just show you exactly how, when they're brought in to say do, you know, the biggest country acts on the planet, how exactly they would take a track, a guitar track, and put stuff on top of that. So if you want to be in a 2-guitar player band, or like I said, in a church or a coffee shop gig or any of that stuff, you will be the parts guy that everybody wants by the end of it. So check that out. I'll leave that in the description box down below as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the continued support. All the support at brettpapa.com from courses like that. Bring in all the guests. All the stuff that you see here is all because of your support at brettpapa.com. I got a ton of killer stuff coming up soon. Tom Bukovac, Guthrie Trapp, Ariel Posen, Justin Ostrander all have courses coming out too that are going to be awesome. They'll be out in the next, you know, probably 3 to 6 months. Really, really cool stuff. This kind of stuff, like if you're interested in the Bukovac stuff, this will get you like primered to that, because his course is so good. I can't even explain. So anyways, that's all coming soon. Thank you so much for the continued support. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell if you have not already. Lots of videos coming your way soon as well. You guys are amazing. We'll catch you next time.